Hello everyone and welcome to end of DayZ new features video. I'm Juki and I'm the developer on the end of DayZ server. I'm here to show you the two new features that we'll be adding to the mod by the next release, which is hopefully somewhere along the next week or this week if we're lucky. The first biggest feature that we are adding or technically fixing is the attachments. The attachment system has been overhauled by and you no longer right-click the attachment, but you right-click the weapon to attach the attachments to it. You can see that this weapon can take the M203 launcher or detach the hollow side that is on it. That will show you all the options that you can do to this weapon by simply right-clicking it. As you can see, I've attached my M203 launcher and I'm gonna, for example, take the hollow side of this weapon now. This will make the attachment system much more user-friendly to do, as you can now actually see what you can do to the weapon instead of just guessing by right-clicking the weapon and seeing that it doesn't fit this. It's pretty much what the new attachment system is. It's fixed and hopefully every weapon will work as they should be intended. There are some bugs still, and unfortunately I cannot test all of the weapons individually to see if that's working. For example, as you saw here, I put an EOTech on the weapon, but it disappeared. Things like that need to be fixed before the mod can be released, hopefully, and some of them unfortunately might still go in the mod, but hopefully you guys will report them out. The another big feature that we'll be adding is the overhauled ammunition system. Notice how in the top right corner I have 28 rounds in my magazine and there I have 3 magazines in my inventory. As you can see, I had 4 magazines in my inventory. Now if I shoot one of them completely empty, you can still notice that I have 3 magazines in my inventory according to the top right. But if we actually hold on, if you actually go to the inventory, you can see that I have 4 magazines still in my inventory, one of them being empty magazine. These empty magazines are now the new system. The magazines are persistent and you actually don't lose the magazines if you shoot them empty. This is great because now you can actually unload ammo from your magazines like this. For example, split this 20 round stack and load them to the magazines. As you can see, I now have 4 magazines again that are loaded and I can shoot those magazines fine. This new system is great because it makes it easier to use the ammo that it should be technically available to the weapon but cannot be fit due to the physical limitations of the magazine. For example, these normal 20 round Stanag magazines, they use 5.56 as you can see in the description, but here they are not used for the AUG. They don't fit in the AUG. As you can see in the top right corner, I only have 4 magazines that I can use, but I can actually take these magazines that I just got, unload them, and load their ammo to my magazines. As you can see, I now have 1 full AUG magazine, and I can do it to here too. I can load this magazine to this partially loaded magazine. You can see I got 10 rounds back. I can load that in here, and now I have 2 full magazines and 2 partially full magazines and 2 empty Stanag magazines. This is great because if you find a weapon, for example, say you have an M4 and you find a magazine for a FAMAS. The FAMAS F1 magazine does not fit the normal M4 weapon, so you can actually take those Stanag ammo off the normal 5.56 rounds off your FAMAS magazine and put it in your M4 magazines, and you'll be able to use them without the limitation that this magazine does not fit in the weapon. It also is great because now the weapons can also now have value depending on what kind of rounds they're using and what kind of magazines they're using. For example, FAMAS F1 will probably be the most likable choice because the FAMAS G2 can take the Stanag magazines, which means more options for what you can actually use in your weapon. This new system is also bringing another feature that is great, and it is the multiple different types of ammunition. We have the normal rounds, the normal Stanag rounds. Then we have the SD rounds, which are essentially the same as they were in before. We have the HB rounds, which are hollow points. The hollow points deal more damage but are more inaccurate. than the normal rounds. We'll have the rubber magazines, which have a very short range, very slow bullet velocity, but they actually can knock someone unconscious if hit to the head or still break their legs. So and deal very minimal damage, meaning they are great to not kill someone, but to try to take them out more humane way. We also have tracer magazines, which shoot a tracer by every round, meaning you can do more accurate shots, because you can see where the bullets are landing. And then lastly we have the BT, aka ballistic tip magazines, which are essentially the same as the normal magazines. They're normal rounds, but they deal more damage. So they are essentially hollow points that don't have accuracy problem. You can unload these magazines, and you can have their ballistic tip rounds and load them to the other magazines by the weapon type. This also allows you to load, for example, if you have an SD round magazine, say for example SD M4, you can actually put those take those M4 SD mags, put them into the M249 magazine and use it on M249. Even though in the M249 does not have an SD silencer option, you can still use those silencer ammo on the weapon because they can be chambered. This new system also works with the AKs and everything else. Also, AKs will now have the ability to use the drum magazine for their rounds. For example, this AK-74 drum magazine, it can fit to any AK-74 weapon because they are the same. They have the same thing. It also fits the RPK and everything else. So you can see these RPK-74 long magazines, which have 45 rounds, they can fit to your AK fine too. The other thing that this system will bring us is the ability to have the ammo be more rare, and the magazines especially to be more rare. You might actually have a fine ammo for your weapon, but you don't necessarily have magazine for it. You might have only one magazine, and so you need to be careful with your ammo, because you need to actually go into your inventory and load those magazines individually if you round them out. It's great. It also makes it so you find some ammo. As you said earlier, you find some weapon magazines that do not with your weapon but are chambered in some rounds. It will make it easier to not just to find some ammo for that. However, there is a counterpart. The weapons now only spawn with one magazine max, or 0 even, and there is a chance that that magazine that is spawned with is empty magazine. So the magazine the ammo will technically be more rare, and it will be balanced so that you cannot simply just like find tens of thousands rounds easily when you go to the Northeast Airfield. No, it's now going to be more rare, and you need to be more conserving when it comes to the ammunition. You might have lots of ammunition and you have a firefight, but you don't realize that at some point you're actually going to run out easily, especially with the Western M4 and the 7.62 x 51 magazines. So hopefully this new system will bring some opportunities to not simply have just a firefights with trigger happy people, and hopefully an actual like thinking of out of the box. Use the rubber rounds to decapitate the enemy, or just shoot their legs and take them prisoners to not waste your precious ammo. It will not make the ammo too rare. The civilian round types like the 9mm and 45 ACPs that are used mostly in the SMGs and the pistols will still be quite common and can be found in the more civilian loots, while the military ammo, the 545X and the 556, they will be more rare and can only be found on military loot, and especially the Western ammo will be a lot rarer and can probably only be found in the high-end military loot and the Western crash sites. The other feature that we can do with this system is to limit the player's ability to put loaded magazines back into the backpack or vehicle or a tent and log out and log back in to have them fully restored. Now if you put loaded magazines in your backpack or in a car, after the server restarts or after you log out, those magazines will be transformed into empty magazines to counter the people abusing this system. It's unrealistic, of course, I know that, but you can counter this by simply just removing the ammo from your magazine before you put them in your backpack. Consider this as you don't want to keep loaded magazines in your backpack. Put those magazines that you have in your pouch are loaded. This actually makes it so you can carry more ammo in your backpack if you have if you use stacks, because the maximum stack right now will be 100 rounds per item slot of ammo. However, unfortunately, there's a slight limitation to this, and that is the magazines are increased in the increments of 10. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 stacks of ammo per ammo type. But then you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 100. Meaning that you cannot have, for example, 45 round stack. You need to have 40 round stack and 5 round stack. This is due to the limitations of armor and now making things too complicated. So, but to accommodate this, we have actually increased all of the backpack sizes slightly, while removing the ability to carry a weapon in your backpack. Well, some backpacks still can carry a weapon in it. Why have we done this? Because we also have done this. You can now put a weapon in your bag and carry 2 weapons at once without having a backpack. It's great because now you can actually switch between different types of weapons easily, depending on the situation, and you can also show yourself unarmed, so you won't look as hostile even though you have a weapon still in your bag. Well, this doesn't allow you to not be able to be sneak while frisking. The people will instantly be notified if they're trying to frisk you and you have a weapon in your bag. That's pretty much mostly what this new update brings. There are a couple of bug fixes and other stuff, like for example, the integration of DayZ 1.8.1.6.1, which brings some new features to the table too, mostly bug fixes. There is one small feature that will be added, or technically removed. There are no more player lists inside the game. Notice the map screen, you don't have the top stuff anymore here. And the player, if you press P, you don't see anymore the player list. This will make it so people don't just simply look at the player list and try to avoid RP. And hopefully it will make the bandits also be more aware of their surroundings, simply because they cannot see who's online in the server right now. That's pretty much what the new update has brought us, so hopefully you will like these changes. They might seem at first very complicated and annoying, but honestly, after you get used to them, they will be fun and new ways to think about the game. It makes the game more like an apocalypse than just a military simulator, because now the ammo will be rare too. After all, think about it all the bandits have been shooting their weapons all night long. What will happen? Who makes the ammo? Where does the ammo come from? Sure, you might have the weapon and the magazines, but you don't have the ammo anymore. I'm Chucky, and hopefully you will like this. Leave a comment in the description or in the forums, and peace out.